I was supposed to find a loophole in the man's life so that we can now back on that to destroy him. But now I looked for him. I could not see him. I was just bypassing him and talking to other people. So I'm getting out, and he's also getting out. And then he directs me to the reception, but he asks me for my name. So I tell him Erica, and then he tells me he's Titus, and he's the one we are looking for. So I find out, oh, I was looking for the same guy, and he just directed me to the wedding reception. So they told me, cancel that mission. That guy is powerful. He's going to destroy you. So I canceled the mission, and they decided to send stronger people than me. Then the other time, and that's when I started now realizing that there are some people who are too powerful, because sometimes I would be sent to homes. I would be sent to people's homes to go and attack them. But there are some homes I would totally miss. I would not access them. There are some places I would not even go close, because I would find fire and angels surrounding those homes, because they are prayerful. They have a prayerful lifestyle. So such places are not easy to access. Some restaurants, some businesses I would be sent to attack, but I could not have a successful, mission, because the owner of that place is a prayerful person. An example is, there's a man. He was married to a prayerful woman. He was not born again. Okay, he had nothing against Christians, but he was not a religious person.
He didn't value those
Yes,
things.
he was a business person. So the wife was born again, and she was raising the children in a Christian way. Now this man, because of the wife's prayers, he started flourishing in the business sector, and there were competitors, and those people were contacting my grandmother for power, for witchcraft. And I remember his neighbor, the first time he came, they sacrificed a goat, and grandmother was telling her that as the goat is being consumed by the spirits, how you know that the spirits are consuming that goat once it has been sacrificed, the maggots will just come and feed on it and leave the bones.
Instantly.
Instantly, yes, after they've sacrificed. So the sacrifice was good, and the grandmother told the man that as the maggots have consumed that sacrifice, that is how you're going to get clients. You will even be sending away some, the way you could not even count the maggots. And that location where they were was a good location next to the busy market. So there you expect to find many customers. So this guy was in charms, and he said that everything is okay apart from one person that takes all the customers, and that is the man I'm talking about, the one who is married to a prayerful woman. So grandmother said, that one, just leave him to us. We'll deal with him. So my grandmother sent my auntie without telling me to go and get change, like pretend like he needs to exchange money so that the man can give him, like you have one paper note, but you want somebody to give you other small notes that are equal to the note that you have. So my auntie did that. She went to the store, and when she went to the store, this time the man had not worked. The woman was in the store. My auntie doesn't know why, instead of getting the change, she ended up buying things. She bought Omo, she bought soap, she bought things that
Omo, for
it's
our
a
Western.
powdered soap.
Yeah, it's a detergent.
Yes, it's a detergent. She bought toilet paper. She bought things that are not.
She just went shopping.
Yeah, she just went shopping.
Instead of getting change so that she
They
could
can
take the
bewitch.
cash and bewitch the money,
She just supported
she ended up supporting the
and
business.
she came back with nothing, no money. Then grandmother got annoyed. So she said, how can you be so weak and foolish? You know, this girl is going to challenge you. I'm going to send my granddaughter. Then I asked, what has she failed to do? They did not tell me. Then grandmother called me, and she told me, Erica, I want you to go and do this for me. You see that man that the other gentleman was talking about? I said, yes. She said, I want you to go and ask him to exchange some money for you. and then you bring that money. We want to bewitch him so that our client gets customers. I said, done deal. I've never failed. So I ran to the store. When I went to the store, again that day, it was now like about 3 days after my auntie had gone. Now there again, I did not find the man. I found the wife. So when I found the wife in the store, one thing I observed, this woman, she used to listen to Christian stations on a radio. She had a small radio, so she would tune a Christian station and put the loudest volume. And then at lunchtime, they had lunch hour where it was time to pray. She would be praying and selling things to people, but she's praying. Sometimes she would be praying in the spirit, but she's selling. So me, I had no idea that this woman is the reason as to why my auntie failed in the previous mission. So I cross the road, I go straight to the store, and she looks at me and says, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm fine." So instead of saying, "Please assist me with change," because the woman was so kind, she said, I just ended up buying things I don't even need. I bought mandazi, I bought samosa, chapati. I just bought things to things for eating. And I was not even interested in those things. So I carried everything I bought to my grandmother. And my grandmother said, I know, I have known today that I have weaklings. I thought I was training strong people, and only to find out that you're all weak and useless. And she said, and my auntie said, "Wait, who did you find at the store?" I said, "The wife." Then auntie's like, "That's the reason. That woman is prayerful. The man is not prayerful. And I don't know why the days we go there, we find the woman in the store." So we failed, because there's no way you can bewitch the mandazi. It's coming from another person, but they are selling it through this one and she gets a discount. We wanted the money so that we can bewitch the lady's income, and she fails to get customers the way she's been getting, and she makes losses in her business, and then she shuts down that store. We were not interested in the products that she was selling. We wanted
words,
the point of contact, which was the money, to exchange with her, so that we can steal her blessing, we can steal the blessing. But now we failed to do that because the woman was praying, and the man was surviving, not knowing that it's the wife's prayers that are helping him to survive and thrive in the business. And now the next meeting was, how do we separate the two? So just know, if you're in a marriage that is working and things are doing well, just know that the enemy will want to separate that marriage, because because of that blessing that he wants to steal. So this man, my grandmother started strategizing on how she could break this union. And now they were looking at the man's weakness, because the man is not saved and the woman is saved. So they were like, we leave the woman alone. Let us try to target the man. If we can get this man to fall in love with another woman, then there we can lure him into weakening the woman's prayer life, because now the woman will be full of bitterness after all that we have gone through together, and all that. This is how you're paying me. So if you're in a marriage and it's doing well, yes, thank God, but keep that marriage and keep that business and everything that God has given you in prayer. Because if this woman reduces on the prayerful lifestyle, that is the end of their marriage and their business and their income, and it's going to affect the children. So my grandmother was discussing that, but the woman was too hot. That woman was too hot. It's not easy even to bring the man down, because she's not only praying for the business, she's also praying for the family. So they was thinking on how they can successfully do it. But the man is covered because of the woman's prayer.
He's not even saved.
He's not saved, but the prayers are covering him. So even your children, they may not be saved, but you can decide to pray, and cover them, and pray that God will lead them to the right people that will lead them to Christ.
Her prayer altar was on fire.
It was on fire, and now they wanted to see how they can put it down.
You see, That's why the priestly commandment is in Leviticus chapter 6. He said, "The fire upon the altar should ever be burning.
Yes.
It shall not go out."
Out.
Look at Exodus chapter 20, verse 24. "An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me." God is speaking here to the children of Israel. He said, "An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee," watch this, "and I will bless thee." So where does the blessing take place?
Wow.
At the
The
altar.
altar. Yeah.
And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. In other words, you won't cultivate, or you won't attempt to shape that stone. For if you lift up your tool upon it, you have polluted it. Then he says in verse 26, "Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon." So you see, the altar of the Lord in the Old Testament was just built on the ground, on the surface level. Then you pile stones, enough stones for it to have at least a flat surface, maybe like a square or a rectangle, flat surface, and then you can put your burnt sacrifices, your burnt offerings, your peace offerings, your sheep, your oxen on top of that, and then and burn it like that. But it was not supposed to have stairs. That's why when I'm showing you the dollar bill, the pyramids of Giza, those are altars. That's the throne and altar of Lucifer. Notice that it has stairs. Why? Because it is an altar of nakedness.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes to Satan, fornication and sexual immorality, nakedness, being disrobed of your garment of righteousness is such a big deal. It's primal to them. It's a primary area of activity.
Yes.
To strip you. Satan desires to strip you of your garment of righteousness. Now, if your altar goes cold, that means another altar that is burning is drawing away from the
Yeah.
power of your altar. It's a battle of altars, really.
Yes, and when my mom found out that what had been affecting us was witchcraft, she intensified on prayer. She mobilized intercessors, and as a result, everything that my grandmother had sent backfired on her, including the pregnancy. I told you my mom was pregnant for 10 years. She even shares in her testimony what she went through, pregnant not with a child.
Please remind us, what did your grandmother, Adronia was wicked.
My
What did
grand
she do
to
to
bewitch my mom.
bewitch? Yeah,
She
what
got
was
a
the
water plant that is in form, the roots are in form of a uterus, the shape of a uterus. And she buried and planted this water plant in the backyard of her compound. And when it grows, it has, it's like the way the passion fruit is, like it spreads.
it coils and spreads.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So she declared that as it is spreading, that is how the fibroid will spread on her uterus.
Oh.
And then she got my grandmother was so wicked.
No, witchcraft is wicked. It will make
Yeah.
anyone who practices it wicked.
Yes, and she said that as the root expands, that is how her uterus will expand, carrying nothing but fibroids. So she kept on watering that plant every morning. That's the dedication she had. Watering it every morning, water, because it's a water plant, so it has to be in water all the time. So she would water it, declaring, making her declarations. And indeed, my mom would feel like, you know how when the wind blows and those leaves are moving, my mother would feel movements in her stomach like somebody who has a baby, and she was pregnant, and she would even sometimes, the pain would be so much that she would feel like climbing even the walls because of the pain.
Oh.
Yeah, so it got to a point where the doctors suggested that they take out the uterus, and my mother wanted to have more children, so she kept on holding on. But when they mentioned to her that it's at a stage where she can get cancer, she surrendered and she said, okay, you can take out the uterus. But even when they took out the uterus,
It didn't help
it didn't help. She remained pregnant.
because the solution was not physical, it was spiritual.
Spiritual.
And a lot
Yeah.
of people are facing that.
Yeah. So now, when we prayed, my